Alright, so this is going to be a tutorial on the second part of the Ghirahim 3 escape, which we have to do on Skyward Sword HD. One thing to note before you do this is that you do need 2 bottles, each of which containing a fairy, so you need 2 fairies to have Link be revived from a death in 2 different instances during this trick before going in, so make sure that you do that. So with that, we will begin. So the first part of this is we need to get Ghirahim down here to where Link is. And the way that we can do this is we can kill Link into this corner right here, which has some weird collision properties. And if we do it correctly, Link will like fall into the corner for a long enough amount of time that the game will actually void him out while he's dying and then respawn him back here, which has the effect of bringing Ghirahim down to Link's level, which is the first step in this process. So this part's not hard. You just basically want to wait for the 6th flash of the bomb, which is the second really fast flash right here. So when I unpause, you'll see 1, 2 on the flashes. So the second fast flash is the 6th total flash. And once you see that flash, you just want to run into this corner basically so that Link begins climbing it up. The bomb will explode as Link climbs up this corner. And then if you're facing the correct angle, then the bomb will blast Link into the corner and he'll kind of stay here for a little bit and then void out because he was in the air for long enough. Now, if you attempt that and Link doesn't like get stuck in the corner like that, that probably means that you ran up too early. Because if you're like at the very top where you like already jump off of like the weird collision before you get hit by the bomb, then you don't get stuck in there like Link did. And then also if you do get stuck but then hit the ground early, then you didn't run up soon enough, so you were too late for that first part. So now Link is going to get revived, and Ghirahim is going to spawn out of bounds here with his platform around us. At this point, what you want to do is you want to target Ghirahim and immediately do a backflip and a right side hop to get like over here next to this wall. Link's going to get up. We're going to do a backflip and side hop right. We want to wait right here until we can hear Ghirahim try to attack Link, at which point we're going to avoid the attack by just stepping away like over here and then running back into this corner as Ghirahim is like gonna turn around and then walk back to Link. So we avoid that, we run into the corner, and now you just want to kind of keep running into the corner like this. If you try to run into the corner and Link like climbs up the weird collision right here, that means you were holding too far left. So make sure that you're just running into it with this kind of angle. Ghirahim will walk back over, and pretty much 100% of the time this will result in Link being able to get over this wall. I've had a very high success rate with doing the backflip side hop and then run into this corner. So Link gets hit, and then he just kind of climbs up the ledge here and goes down, just like that. Immediately once you get control, you want to try to see if you can backflip away. This is just a minor optimization, because if you can get far enough away from Ghirahim quick enough, he won't try to hit you again right here, which will just slow down his movement and waste a few seconds, so try to backflip away as fast as possible so that Ghirahim keeps on moving. And then we want to go over here to the left so that Ghirahim comes back in bounds inside the arena. And we want to manipulate Ghirahim so that he's over, like, here-ish in the arena. So that we can do the out-of-bounds clip, or not the out-of-bounds clip, but the clip through the fence next. So we want to roll over here, and then we're going to specifically be hopping through this fence. So the way to know which one the correct, like, picket is, I guess, if we imagine this as a picket fence, you'll see the statue over here to the left, and then you count 1 picket, 2 picket, or I guess, like, if this is the picket that's aligned with the statue, it's 2 pickets to the right of the one that the statue is lined up with. So we're going to be clipping through this one. So the setup for this is kind of weird, but it does give you a consistent angle, that like a perfectly consistent angle that you can use to clip through. To explain this setup, I'm going to switch over to Yuzu. where I can have Ghirahim not bother me. Okay, so now that we're in Yuzu, the number that you see on the bottom right hand of the screen here is Link's facing angle, which doesn't update every frame, but updates often enough for what we're trying to do here. So we're switching over to Yuzu to see Link's facing angle, and also so that Ghirahim just doesn't bother us as I'm trying to explain how this setup works. So one property of this game, with regards to the camera in first person, is that regardless of which angle Link is facing, if you go into first person by pressing the D-pad up button, or use D-pad up on Pro Controller, up button on the Joy-Cons, Link will always snap to face whichever direction the camera is facing, right? So if I go into first person like this, he'll snap towards where the camera is facing, regardless of where he is facing, right? So we're going to be using this property to help us get a consistent angle, and we're going to be lining up the camera in a specific way up here next to the picket so that we can get this consistent angle. So we want to first push the free cam up against Link and then sort of run into the picket right here. So the angle that we want, and once you've run into the picket enough, you don't really need to run into it anymore as long as your position is somewhat here. The visual cue that we're looking for here is for the bottom tip of the first heart to be lined up with the brightest part of this yellow band, the bottom of the brightest part, right? So this is how we know that we have the correct angle, because when we see this and we go into first person and then back out, Link will get a facing angle of 58,352. Now, this is actually surprisingly consistent because, if we move around here to make sure that we get rid of the angle, walk back in here. If we, so we have the correct angle now again. But you'll notice that if I slightly move the camera, if I attempt to just very slightly move the camera, the game sort of automatically will move the camera back over to that original angle that we had, right? As long as we don't move it too far away. So if I move it if I move the camera very slightly to the right, the game is pushing it back to the left, right? As long as it's not too much. So we can use this automatic movement of the camera to always get this consistent 58352 angle, if that makes sense. So it's a little bit weird and a little bit hard to see maybe, but using that we can get a very consistent angle. And this is an angle that we can use to clip out here. So I will now go back to the other video to demonstrate this setup again. So you want to begin pushing the camera in well before you get to the picket right here, because for some reason the camera can take longer to push all the way into Link if you try to begin using the free cam when you're already here. So you want to push the camera in as you're walking over here. And then, once again, try to line up the bottom of the heart with the brighter part of the yellow band in the middle here. We'll see as I do that. And then, as soon as I see the camera move back over, like it did just right there, I know that I have the correct angle. And because I use motion controls, if you use motion controls, you want to specifically for this, temporarily turn on button controls so that when you go into first person, the gyro aiming does not shift your angle by any amount, which it will do if it's turned on, right? So once I see that happens, I very quickly go into the menu, turn on button-only controls with no gyro aiming at all to go into first person and successfully keep the angle without it shifting at all, and then go back and re-enable motion controls. So with this angle that we now have, we're first going to want to target, of course, because we need to do a front hop here. And then we're going to want to do a hop forward. This hop forward is not going to clip, but it's going to get us into a position to prepare to do the clip, right? So first we're going to hop. It's going to push Link slightly to the right of where he previously was. And now if we keep on holding forward, and then wait just about a second or so before attempting to do another hop, the second hop that we do can clip through the wall right here. That time, I believe I did that a little too early, because Link needs to move very slightly to the left here before we can get a successful hop, just like that, right? So once again, if we want to go back and watch the timing for this, do that hop, and then, so yeah, that's roughly what the timing is. You wait, like, I think it's about a second or so before you do the hop attempts to clip through. I'm not really sure what the frame window for this is, to be honest. But it's not, like, too precise. Like, it has to be at least, like, a third of a second or something when doing this. You also want to make sure that when you're doing this, you don't see Link's feet shuffling sideways. If you see Link's feet shuffling sideways, that means that you're not holding straight enough up, and that you probably aren't going into the correct position to get the clip. So, want to make sure that you see Link's feet going forward here and not side to side. And then, obviously, once you clip through, the rest of this is pretty easy. You just want to run up the spiral. I'm doing this on normal mode, so it'll take me a little bit longer to damage down. Skip through the video and I damage down. Eventually you will reach these vines right here, and you're going to claw shot up these vines. And then claw shot up to a higher platform that is like up here. And then from here you're high enough so that you can do another death revive after falling in the air for long enough, and this will bring Ghirahim back up to this level of the platform where you can just kind of complete the fight normally. For this one, there's nothing precise about this, just die off the edge in any direction with any orientation. And you'll get the circle fade out, and now Ghirahim will be back up here. So yeah. I guess one other thing to note is that because you're really far out here, the platform is going to be moving inward a lot. You want to make sure that you don't knock Ghirahim in the direction that the platform is moving, because if Ghirahim gets knocked off this platform, but then lands back on it, because it's moving in the direction you're hitting him, the game will actually crash. So just don't knock him off in, like, this direction. Knock him off in, like, any other direction. Or, like, straight back like here, like I do in the video. And then, yeah, just complete the fight normally, and that's how you do Ghirahim 3 escape. So, good luck, and if you have any questions, please ask them.